asked what the most important or necessary job in our country, many people would probably respond with jobs such as doctor, physician, lawyer, politician, or even farmer or food producer, all of which are respectable careers. I, however, would argue that teachers are both necessary for the betterment and continuity of our society, as well as invaluable in the role they play in shaping our young minds, which will one day join our workforce and lead our nation. Teachers do so much more than teach. Teachers are role models, they're mentors, they're fill-in parents at times, they're coaches, they're therapists, they're our friends, and they're our family. I was lucky enough to grow up in a family of teachers, and I still have that luxury to this day. My father is a retired public school teacher, as well as a instructor at Clark State and serves on our local school board district. My sister is a 4th grade language arts teacher. My brother-in-law is a guidance counselor at my former high school, where his brother and sister-in-law both work as teachers and coaches as well. I also have many cousins that are either retired, active, or aspiring teachers. So luckily, I've had the pleasure of seeing just how far teachers are willing to go to ensure the safety and success of their students. But what I can't understand is that though the salaries of other professions, some of which I mentioned before, have increased dramatically over the years, those of the salaries of teachers have remained stagnant. In fact, in 2018, the Economic Policy Institute found that teachers were earning $27 less a week than they were in 1996, almost 20 years prior. But why am I telling you all this? The goal of this speech is to persuade you all to act in order to get the salaries of our teachers increased in a way that reflects their value in our society. I'm going to show you initiatives in which we can act federally, state and local government-wise, and individually in order to contribute to increasing the salaries. Because remember, teachers have a lot of passion, but they cannot make a living off that passion. We have to help them. So let's get started with looking at federal initiatives to increase the salaries of our teachers. The federal government does provide access to higher salaries for certain teachers through what the Department of Education has named the Teacher Incentive Fund, which, quote, provides funding for projects that develop and implement performance-based teacher and principal compensation programs in high-need schools. So basically, the success of students is what determines a teacher's ability to get access to this fund and increase their salary. It's not available to every teacher, and again, it is based on student success, not the ability of the teacher themselves. Other than that, there are proposals being made by lawmakers to increase the salaries of our teachers. One of the more recent and popular was made in 2019 by now Vice President Kamala Harris. Her plan involves increasing salaries by investing $315 billion over 10 years to increase salaries of a teacher by approximately $13,500. Money from this program would be used through direct federal spending and the matching of state education funds. So if you're interested in that, I would do some research on what she's doing with that. That was a proposition she made when she was a vice presidential candidate. So it'll be interesting to see how that folds out over the next 3.5 years. And we're now going to move over to state and local initiatives. State and local initiatives to increase the salaries of teachers is probably the way to go. Public schools already receive most of their funds from the state. Ohio does get funds from profits derived from the Ohio Lottery as well as its casinos in the state. And the state itself may set a minimum salary for its teachers, which they have. The current minimum salary for a starting teacher in Ohio is $30,000, which needs to be increased dramatically. The NEA, the National Education Association, has found that the average starting salary of a teacher in Ohio is $37,569, which ranks 39th nationally. An average total salary for a teacher is $61,406, which ranks 17th nationally. The Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, or OECD, produced a report finding that teachers made just 60% of the average salaries made by U.S. citizens with comparable educational backgrounds. So what I'm proposing we do is call on our state officials to address that wage gap faced by our teachers, as well as to potentially increase the minimum starting salary for our teachers. And let's end this discussion by discussing what we as individuals can do to increase the teacher salaries as well. Though not as direct, one individual can make a difference in the fight to increase the salaries of our teachers. The simplest way to do this is to attend local school boards. School board meetings, you can meet your elected officials that are in charge of the decision-making process for your district, your school. You can find out the budget, where money is coming from, where it's going. If you agree with where it's going, if how it's being spent, that is the place you would address those concerns. Aside from that, you can also learn about proposed tax levies that are being brought onto the ballot. I feel that most people after high school, if they don't have kids, if they just see school levy, they say no, because they figure they don't have, they're not in school, doesn't bother them. But as long as you do the research, you can become a more informed voter, and therefore you can decide objectively if a levy is going to benefit your school, the teachers, the community, the students, or if it's not. If it's completely unnecessary, it's completely fine to vote no as well. Apart from actions you can take within your school board district, another way an individual can help increase the salaries of teachers is through petition signing. Adults can sign any petition. I found hundreds on change.org dedicated to improving the salaries of teachers in a specific state, but I did find one on change.org made by a New York City teacher named Jonathan LaManna that is proposing to do so on a national level. If you're interested in that, again, it's change.org, and his name is Jonathan LaManna, and I believe he needs 200 signatures to get to the next stage of this process. So what have we learned? While there is a large gap between the salaries of teachers and those of other professionals, there are several ways in which we can help teachers make the money they deserve and do their jobs in a way that is respectful to their place in society. We can visit propositions made by lawmakers, such as Vice President Harris's 2019 plan. We can ask our state politicians to increase the minimum starting salary for its teachers, or to increase the amount of funds that we receive from the lottery as well as the casinos. And individuals can become active in their districts through participation in school board meetings, where they can learn the ins and outs of the district, what it needs, and the best way to help its teachers succeed and provide their service. So again, please consider doing all of these things I've just talked about. Teachers make way less than they deserve. They should be paid more than almost anyone in the country, I think. And again, they have a ton of passion, but they can't get paid on passion. So please, let's take some action, let's help them out, and let's get them paid. Thank you.